Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I'm once again answering some of your questions, such as what are the best micro brands, what do I think about Christopher Ward, and let's talk about AP's new limited edition release. All that and more in today's episode. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my Nomos Tangomat GMT. It is my travel watch, but no, I'm not traveling. Well, I will be in a couple of weeks, but I just haven't worn this in a few months, so decided to put it on. Also, guys, a bunch of new inventory in stock. We just got in the Tag Heuer Monaco Blue Dial, cheapest one in the country. Very, very beautiful watch. And the Monaco is an icon. We also got in the rare Omega Speedmaster Trilogy Seamaster version 1957, full box and papers, and one of the world's most underrated dress watch, the JLC Master Ultra Thin Reserve de Marche with that gorgeous blue dial. All that and way more at delraywatch.com, the best place for a watch geek to buy a watch. Link in the description below. Anyway, guys, these are the questions you've asked me. You guys know how it works by now. Once every, couple weeks or so, I put up a Q&A picture on my Instagram account at Federico Talks Watches. You guys can type your question there. When I get enough questions, I take the pictures down. Please do not DM me, as I do not check them. But let's start in no particular order. Matatui. Hey Fed, is it okay to leave my watches in hacking position while they're in the watch box so I don't have to wind them again when I wear them in a few days? Does this damage the movement? Well, Matatui, I don't think it damages the movement. I personally don't do it. I like winding my watches. I like the interaction. But more importantly, I don't like leaving the stem out because sometimes you may introduce moisture or dust. Generally not an issue because there is a gasket on most watches on the inside of the stem. So ultimately, I think no harm, no foul. Just something I don't do out of habit. Wristwatch Wrangler. Hey, longtime viewer from Chicago. Thank you. What's your response when someone asks for a photo of the watch's movement if it's not provided in your listing, assuming the case back is not exhibition? This is interesting to me. I think it depends on the watch. If it's just a standard watch, like a modern sub or something without a movement, I won't provide a picture even if someone asks. Every time you open a watch, you have some danger of introducing dust in the movement. You may break the gaskets. It also just takes time. And there's no purpose for someone to see that movement if it's just a bog standard modern watch. They don't want to buy it from me. It's okay. They can buy it from someone else, but I have no trouble selling watches, and I don't want to go through the hassle of the extra steps, not to mention the potential dangers of what happens when you open a case back, which can happen whenever. I don't think a movement picture is necessary to sell a watch like that. However, if it's a vintage watch, someone wants to see a movement picture, yeah, we will oblige. I mean, that is much more important. It could be a more interesting movement. They might want to see the condition of the movement in a vintage watch, which is very important. So I have no problem doing that. But someone wants to see the movement in a Black Bay I'm selling, yeah, that I won't be providing that picture. Marzipan says, what are your thoughts on micro brands like Atelier de Chronométrie and Naoya Hida? Two of my favorite micro brands. Now, I'm not a huge micro brand guy, but these are great micro brands. Real horological work goes into these. Movements, cases, they're not just assemblers. They're not just putting together parts. They're doing things that are horologically interesting, whereas most micro brands are just a bunch of pieces with a Sellita or Miota movement, and that's that. These are significantly more expensive, but they're actually doing some real watchmaking here, whether it be the cases or the movements. So Atelier de Chronométrie and Naoya Hida are two of the best micro brands out there. Oxifs. Thoughts on the new AP 1017 Alex collab? What is AP doing? I agree. I don't know what AP is doing. I will preface this by saying I'm very obviously not into the streetwear culture, but I think AP is diluting the brand. I have very strong thoughts on this, but, you know, some people may disagree with me, but streetwear, like, who gives a shit? Like, AP is just bouncing on the hype. You know, streetwear's hot now, sneaker collecting's hot now, Marvel with the Spider-Man and Black Panther, you know, was hot. This is not befitting of a brand in the Holy Trinity. They're trying to gain new customers, new younger customers. I get it. But to me, it's entirely cringeworthy. And also, to be honest, not necessarily the type of customer I would think AP would want. You know, I think they'd want to go for something a little bit more timeless and classically styled, like Patek Philippe. But AP, you know, wants to do this. They can go right ahead, but certainly not a brand. You know, every day it's more a brand that I certainly don't want on my wrist just for association's sake. R. Hanzo 85. Hey Fed, what are your thoughts on Christopher Ward? So this is interesting, Hanzo. I actually haven't seen a ton of them in real life. We very rarely get them in Del Rey Watch. The price point tends to be just a little too low. But the ones I have seen, I've been very impressed. Apart from their chiming watch, which I think is just incredible, especially for the money, just their standard divers, they seem to be very well finished and very high quality for the price you're paying. So while I'm no Christopher Ward expert, I can certainly see the appeal and why they've gained in popularity so much compared to other brands of their age. I think you just get a ton for the money, and they seem to be very well put together and thought out watches for the price point. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. 2 thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.